Hey guys, I wanted to get on here today and do this video. I've been thinking about it and I just really wanted to do it and tell our side of the story. So here goes. When Jeremy and I first got married, well, let me backtrack. Okay, when I was a kid, I never had any pets. I had goldfish once and like a betta fish, but like fish was the most I ever had. Well, I think I had a frog once, but it was like the kind that goes in the fish bowl also, you know. So keep that in mind because that's going to be important in this story. Okay, so I never had pets growing up. And I just want to say that, you know, I don't fault my parents for that because they were both working full-time jobs, and you know, I would have promised to take care of it. I wouldn't have took care of it, so I totally get it. So then Jeremy and I got married, and we lived in an apartment, and we weren't allowed to have pets. But we knew the landlords. Were very good friends with them. We went to church with them all our lives, and so they let us have. We could have any animal that stayed in a cage. And I know what you're thinking. No animal stays in a cage. An animal that stayed in the cage the majority of the time. Like they had new carpet in the apartment, so they didn't want it to get messed up, obviously. So anyway, that was their thinking, and that's why that. So we had several pets in cages in that apartment. We went a little wild with it, and yeah. So anyway, we had a bearded dragon. We had several bearded dragons, but not all at once. The first one we got from a pet store, Spike. He passed away not long after we got him, and I think he was probably already sick. But anyway, I mean, I don't think the pet store owner knew that, but I think he was already sick. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We had birds. I got well, let me tell this story because it's kind of cool. So right before we got married, Jeremy went to the Bahamas with one of his guy friends, and while he was gone, I wanted to surprise him, so I had already moved into the apartment myself. He moved in after we got married, and I got a 50-gallon aquarium, filled it with water, and filled it with fish, and it was so awesome. But then, you know, you have to keep those clean and take care of them, so we didn't have it very long. But anyway, and that's what our bearded dragons ended up living in when it wasn't a fish tank anymore. So that's just a cool little tidbit. That was my first like big surprise, and he was really surprised when he came home. But anyway, so we so I guess fish was our first pet together. We bought our house, our first house, and when we bought our house, let me backtrack. We used to go to Petco all the time. You know how like we're bored, what are we going to do? And you go to Walmart, or you go to, you know, and you just walk around and spend money you don't need to spend. Our place was Petco. We would always go to Cleveland, and we would go to Petco, which was not good. But anyway, so we had just bought our house. We weren't living in it yet. We were working on renovations and stuff, and we went to Petco. And when we were leaving Petco, there was this girl outside holding a puppy. And she was like, hey, this is the last of the litter. Do y'all want a puppy? And we were like, no. And we kept walking toward the car. And then I glanced over at Jeremy, and he had this look on his face. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he wants this puppy. And I'm like, did you want the puppy? And he was like, did you want her? And so anyway, we turned around. We got the puppy, our first puppy. Her name was Brittany. I named all my animals people names, and before this is over, I'm going to go through some of them names because I'm talking about first name, middle name. I named them people names. And so her name was Brittany Leanne. She was our first they're all real pets. I was going to say real pet together. Anyway, she was our first dog together. And we loved Brittany. She was a Akita Husky mix, brown and white. She was very pretty. She got big very quickly. Anyway, so a few months go by. We're still working on our house. And a friend of mine had a friend who had puppies, and she was like, do you want a puppy? And I'm like, oh, we should get her a friend, blah blah blah. And Jeremy's like, well, it's up to you, you know. Anyway, so I get this puppy. Love of my life. It's gonna make me cry. Still to this day, my absolute favorite dog, hands down. And I don't even know what movie it is. Jeremy would be very ashamed of me in this, but the movie had just came out, and Rorschach was a character on there. I don't even know if I'm really saying it right, but anyway, that was this doggy's name, Rorschach Mitchell. Jeremy picked the first name because I named Brittany, but I put in the middle name. And I called him Rory because I did not like Rorschach. But anyway, and he was my sidekick. I wish I had pictures to insert here. I still have pictures of all the pets we've ever had. He was my sidekick. He was my baby. I dressed him in clothes. He was small. I think he was a Boston Terrier mix. He was solid black. And he had like the underbite, and his little bottom teeth would show. He was like all the time. Super, super cute dog. Sweet temperament. I mean, let me hold him like a baby. Always wanted me to be holding him. He was the best. He really was. And at that time, I wanted a baby so bad, so I know I was kind of trying to fill a void there. And Rory did well. He did well at filling that void at the time. And so we moved into our house. Life was great. We had the 2 dogs. And Rory got really sick. And he was just crying all the time. He had really bad diarrhea. We weren't really sure what was wrong with him. And so I was going to take him to the vet the next morning. And so I put him in the garage that night because, I mean, he was making a mess everywhere. He was super sick. I stayed out in the garage with him for a really long time. I just held him. I just petted him. And he just kind of laid around. He was very, very sick. And so the next morning, I went out there to check on him, and I was going to take him to the vet, and he had passed. And it changed me. You know, since I didn't grow up with pets, I didn't really deal with death. And it was my first great loss, and it was difficult. And we buried him. We put up a plaque. We put up those little stepping stones. And anyway, we made it real cute. And so anyway, that's when things started spiraling out of control for me in the pet area. And it's on me. I don't like to blame it on other things, but I do think that his death was a trigger for me. So yeah. After that, we started, I say we, but it was me making the decisions here. But I mean, Jeremy was okay with it, but we started getting pets left and right. At one point, we had 6 cats, 5 dogs, 2 guinea pigs, and a bird. I think that was the most we ever had at one time. all of them weren't in the house all together, obviously. But I remember one time we went to Tractor Supply Co-op. We went to the Co-op in Athens. It had just opened, so it was a big deal to go to walk around the Co-op. And we always went in there and bought things for our pets and stuff. So we were in there looking around, and when we come out, someone was set up right outside with a big crate full of kittens. And we already had 5, I think, kittens at home. And Jeremy was like, no way, don't. I gave him a look, no way, don't even think about it. But I gave him the sad puppy dog eye look, and he was like, go back and get it. And I got this black and white cat, super, super fluffy, long hair, and we named her Haven. And Haven is probably one of my favorite cats that we had. She was just a good cat, very loving, very pretty. And we also had a very, very loving cat named Lionel. We actually got him from, I saw it in the newspaper, and we got him and his sister. He was orange, and his sister Callie, she was calico, obviously. And one of our dogs ended up killing Callie. He thought he was playing with her, but he was too rough. And Jeremy, I found her, and Jeremy took her to the vet, and they had to have her put down. She was just very, very sick, too bad of injuries. But anyway, we had Lionel, and that's how we got him, is from some people in Node, I think, out of the newspaper. And Lionel let me hold him like a baby all the time. Like, he was flipped on his back right here all the time. Very loving. You could pick him up. He never scratched. He never did any of that. And so, hi, Connor's in here with me. So I always loved Lionel. And Lionel we ended up giving to a lady that we met. And, hi. And she had a little kid, and I met her one day, and I gave him to her, and as we were driving away that day, I looked back, and the little girl was in the back in a car seat, and she was holding him, and so I knew he was going to be okay. And so, although I do miss him, he was a really good cat, and I think about how great he would have been with Connor. I know that he's with kids, and he's having a good life. But anyway, another one of my favorite cats would be Skylar, aka Hawk. We got him outside of Petco one day. Someone was set up, and we picked very, very pretty cat. I mean, beautiful blue eyes. He was gray and white. We thought it was a girl. We asked the people, girl or boy, and they're like, this one's a girl. And so we're like, okay, we want a girl. I'm not sure why we wanted a girl, but we wanted a girl. And so we, sorry about that, pop up. We named her Skylar Marie, again with my 2 names. And as Skylar grew, we realized Skylar's a dude, and Skylar Marie is definitely not a dude name. So we renamed him Hawk, and he was a really good cat. He was a really cool cat. And then we had Midnight and Maverick. I don't even remember where we got them, honestly. They were really good cats. We had Haven ended up having babies, and we had and again, I don't know how my cats didn't end up having babies, but they didn't until Haven got pregnant. And Haven had 5 kittens, beautiful, beautiful kittens, 2 calico. Thank you for that. And Journey was one of the kittens we kept, and we actually took her to Montana with us, and that's why we named her Journey, because we were leaving our homes, we were leaving our families, and we were moving to Montana, and we'd never even been there. It was scary. It was a journey, and so we named her Journey. And then while we were in Montana, we knew we were going to be moving home, and so I found her a new home, because she almost died on the way to Montana. She got really, I think, car sick. She got really nervous and really sick. So while in Montana, okay, most of y'all know when we moved to Montana, obviously we had to get rid of all our pets. We kept Journey, that was it. While in Montana, obviously, we got another cat named Tally. He was a big fluffy cat, way overweight, big orange cat, and he was moody, very moody. I made him mad one time by moving the litter box, and he started using the bathroom in our guest room. Like, if he got mad at you, he'd get right in front of you and pee in the floor. He would poop. He was very moody. And when we found Journey a home, Tally went with her. And so, very sweet family that got them. And we also went to the animal shelter one day while in Montana, and we got a dog. We got Molly. And she was a very sweet dog. She went to live with friends of ours when we moved home. Also, I left out a bunch of people. Let me backtrack. While we still lived here, we had a Molly, which is who we named the other Molly after. And her name was Molly Kate. I actually bottle fed her. We got her from the animal shelter. And anyway, I'm not going to go into great details about that. We also, the Chattanooga Mall used to have the pet place in there. We got a dog from there one time. Our first Boston Terrier, Brutus. Love the breed, love Brutus. His name was Brutus Rorschach, after Rory. And let's see, we got a kitten one time from somebody who found it at a church. We named him Cooper. Oh, the Shih Tzus. Then I got a Shih Tzu one time from a breeder. Named her Misty. I don't remember her middle name. I know she had one. And then I came up with this bright idea that I was going to breed Shih Tzus, so I needed a boy. So I drove to Etowah to a lady who bred Shih Tzus and had puppies, and I drove there by myself, found her online, went to her house. Probably the sketchiest thing I'd ever done. I didn't do a lot of sketchy things, obviously, but anyway, she was probably completely safe. She was very nice to me. And she had I'll never forget, I went in her house, and she had a baby pool in the living room, and here was just puppies everywhere. And so I'm like, I really want a boy. And so she showed me her boys, black and white, very cute. Misty was brown. Okay. Misty was brown, and so we got Jack. I know Misty's name, Misty Jill, and so then we got Jack, because Jack and Jill. I don't remember Jack's middle name, but anyway, never bred them. We ended up getting both of them fixed, I think. Anyway, I'm saying all this to tell you that my life was a chaotic mess, and I was making it worse by getting these pets. And then, like, we'd give away this pet, and we'd get another, and then we'd give away these, and we'd get this, and we'd blah, 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 blah. I mean, it was crazy, and there was no reason for it. It was just because I can. Like, I could blame it on not being able to have pets when I grew up. I could blame it on Rory dying. I could blame it on a lot of things, but it was on me, and I was quickly becoming an animal hoarder. You can't see it when you're in it. You don't understand when you're in it. You're offended when you're in it. But it was gross. I'm going to be honest. I was working full-time at the time. It was just, and then when I wasn't working full-time anymore because I quit my job and I was staying home, I was just like, oh, I have more time to take care of more pets, and I was just getting more and more. It was ridiculous. Looking back, I can say that, but at the time, I couldn't see it. And I just think back to the conditions, and it's like, we loved our pets, but we would have been able to love fewer better, and that is the state where animal hoarders get. And I love to watch that show, Animal Hoarders or whatever, on TV, because I'm like, how could you let it get that bad? But I was well on my way. No, I didn't have 18 dogs in my house just letting them use the bathroom everywhere, you know, but I could have easily got there because I was on that road, and I realize that now. When we went to sell our house, so many people, you know, our real estate agent would show them around. I would have to get in my car with pets. I know I went to Walmart one time and had to just sit in the parking lot because I couldn't leave the pets in the cart because they were showing our house. And I know I had a bird, the guinea pigs, I think, and a dog. I left the cat outside, and a dog. It's just because they were showing our garage too, so it's like I couldn't even just put them in the garage, you know. Anyway, it was ridiculous. But anyway, and like our house wasn't selling, and so we finally asked our real estate agent, you know, is there any feedback? Is there anything they're saying? And she's like, they're saying that it has a smell. Your house has a smell. And I remember being so offended. I was so upset by that. And a little embarrassed too. I think a lot of times that's why we get so upset and defensive, because we're embarrassed. Looking back now, of course it had a smell. My gosh. I mean, you know, you can take the pets out of it, but you can clean the night before all you want. But the smell's there, you know. And so anyway, it is easy to get on that road. And I was on that road. And I miss our pets. There's specific pets that I would do anything to get back, but I can't. As most of you probably know, we got Nala. We had Nala for 4 years. Very, very sweet dog. Very attached, right to your hip. Then I decided one day, you know, we brought Connor home. He got to know Nala. He'd never been around a dog, but it was all good. He loved Nala. Nala loved him. And then one day I decided I was going to get Jeremy an English Bulldog for Christmas. He'd always wanted one. So I got Diesel. And after that, trying to clean up the dog hair and trying to keep the house clean and potty train him, and it was just a lot of stuff. Connor was sick a lot, so we were in and out of the hospital. We were doing breathing treatments. And we realized the dogs are probably a trigger. And so we found homes for our dogs. This was the most difficult time because out of all the things we'd been through in the past, like, we'd overcome it. We only had Nala for 4 years. We weren't out doing crazy stuff. And a lot of that too is because we don't own our home. We rent. So we're not allowed to have a whole, they would probably let us, but I like to think in my mind I'm not allowed to do that because it helps me stay on track. Anyway, so we found homes for the dogs. This was super traumatic, super hard. But they've been gone probably right at a year. And Connor hasn't had pneumonia in a year. Since they left, he hasn't had pneumonia. And so we don't regret our decision. It's sad. It's hard. I would love to have a pet. But you have to do what you have to do for your kid. My anxiety is way down. My stress is way down, obviously. And I'm getting to spend more time with Connor, and just seeing his health flourish is absolutely amazing. I think I have a lot of guilt. Connor was in and out of the hospital a lot with pneumonia, and I think I have a lot of guilt because he had been home for 3 years, and we'd had Nala all that time, and I never put two and two together, because Nala was a member of our family, you know, and so it took me a long time to grasp that this is not good for him. And he goes places with dogs, you know, his babysitter has pets, and it's fine. It's just, I think, living with them and day in and day out, and so anyway, because I've been places before and they were like, oh my gosh, let me put up the dogs. It's not that kind of allergy, I guess. It's just all the hair and stuff does not help his breathing. And so we have proof of that, because ever since they've been gone, he's been healthy. And I really wanted to be wrong. I didn't want to be wrong because I got rid of my pets, you know, but I wanted to be wrong at the same time, because I love having pets and I love dogs and I love cats, and but this is where we are right now. We're a pet-free household, and that's how it's going to stay for now. I'm not going to say forever, because as he gets older, a lot of his lung issues will probably go, well, we're hoping will go away and he'll grow out of them. But and there is a lot of dogs, that certain breeds, that are better for allergies and things. So I would never say never, because who knows what the future holds. But for now, we are a pet-free household, and that's okay. And I never want to get back to where we were. I like to think that I wouldn't, because my life is too chaotic and busy now. And I think a lot of things too I was trying to fill a void, because we wanted a baby so bad. And each pet I got, it's that new, exciting, this is my baby. But then they grow up, you know, they get a little older and they don't need you as much, kind of like with a kid, you know. And so I think that I couldn't fill that void, because I wanted a baby. And so I like to think I would never go back down that road, but I know that I easily could. It's that feeling of new and excitement, and it was a difficult place to be, and it was difficult to come to the realization that you were well on your way to be an animal hoarder. You made really bad decisions, and you didn't always think in the best interest of the pet. And anyway, I wanted to make this video because if you knew us back then and thought we were flat out crazy, we realize now that we were. We couldn't see it then, and so now we do see it. So I'm going to tell you some of our pet names, because we're crazy. Brittany Leanne, Rorschach Mitchell, Brutus Rorschach, Molly Kate, Cooper, Hawk, Haven, Journey, Midnight, Maverick, Lionel also, you know, the orange cat I was telling you about, real loving, real sweet. We got him when Smallville, I don't think it had just come out. I think we had just bought the box set. Anyway, it was really popular, and so Lionel. Anyway, let's see. Nolabelle. I don't remember Diesel's middle name. He had a middle name too, trust and believe. Jack Martin. Jack's middle name was Martin. So we had Misty, Jill, Jack Martin. I can't remember our bird's name. Or the guinea pigs, but I know the guinea pigs had double names, or middle names also. Molly Kate was probably my favorite, because I called her Molly Kate all the time. I don't remember Molly in Montana. I don't remember Journey having a middle name. Probably my favorite pet name would be Haven. I really like the name Haven. It's cute. Okay, it's telling me I've reached my size limit, so I'm going to wrap it up. Can't think of any more anyway. So, anyway, that's my animal hoarding story, and we were well on our way to being animal hoarders. And I'm very ashamed of that, but I'm glad I've grown and come to realize, and I do not live that way anymore.